Good morning to all of you.
Morning.
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 Okay, welcome to our class today. Okay, and we pick from where we left yesterday. And we were discussing, I think the last thing we were discussing is how to prepare a cost card. Okay, how do we prepare a cost card? Okay, with the key thing you have to be careful with regard to the cost card is the cost. Okay, is where does this cost fall? Okay, is it part of the prime cost? Is it part of the production overhead cost? Is it part of the non-production overhead? So that's, I think, the key concern that you may be having here. But in case you're not so clear regarding where the cost will fall, then the cost are going to end up with the wrong product cost, okay, the wrong prime cost, okay, the wrong production cost, okay, and the wrong total cost, okay. So you have to be quite careful, okay, on where the costs do fall, okay. So that's I think the key concern. And we did some few examples, okay, and I am supposing that, okay, it was quite clear to all of you, okay, on those examples, okay. Just give me a minute. Don't forget, if you log in using your proper names, okay, I'm not sure. So log in using your proper names. And I'll take it out later on. Okay. We need some few examples. Okay. Now today I want us to start off by discussing how does the different way of determining the cost. Okay, because the idea when it comes to the cost, when it comes to the preparation of the cost card, is that the profit to be reported might be different depending on the different reporting structures or reporting systems that the company can use. Okay. If therefore you do mix up, okay, how the cost is being prepared, then you're going to end up with the wrong product. You're going to end up with therefore with the wrong profit. Okay, so profit is the excess of the revenue you receive from the sale of the products. Okay, either good or a service. Okay, over the cost that you incurred in the provision or in the delivery of that particular service. Okay. The excess of the profit is simply revenue minus expenses. Okay, I think by now you already know that. Okay, now here when it comes to profit reporting, that is this for the purpose of cost accounting, for the purpose of management accounting. Okay, we have two ways of reporting for profit. Okay, this is different from financial accounting. Okay, so but for the case of the purpose of management accounting, you can report profit using two bases. Okay, one is called the absorption cost basis. Okay, using called the absorption cost basis. Okay, the other one is called the marginal costing basis. Okay, two bases we can use when it comes to the reporting, okay, of the profit. Okay, in the case of the absorption costing method, okay, now the cost of the product for inventory valuation is a variable cost plus a fixed production cost. Okay, so here if there was any fixed production cost, okay, that we did incur, okay, if there was any fixed production cost that we did incur, okay, then we are going to say that the value or the cost we are incurring towards the manufacturing, towards the production, okay, of this particular commodity, therefore is ought to be equal to, okay, the total cost we incurred, okay, both the variable production cost as well as the fixed production cost. Okay, so both the variable as well as the fixed production costs. Okay, in the case of the marginal costing method, okay, and I hope you can get, if I hope you have a mental picture of the cost card, okay, that we had. Okay, don't forget here, therefore we're going to include all the costs in short. Okay, we're going to include the prime cost plus the fixed production costs that are being absorbed. Okay, now in case you're going to be using the marginal costing method, you're going to be using the marginal costing method. Okay, the cost of the product for inventory valuation is a variable production cost only. Okay, it's a variable production cost only. Okay, which implies that for more or less it will be only be the prime cost. Okay, because of the prime cost is the labor cost, okay, which of course will vary in line with the units of production, okay, as well as the cost of raw material. Okay, so it is more towards the prime cost. Okay, if there is any fixed production overhead, they are going to be treated as what referred to as period costs. Okay, what's a period cost? Okay, I think I mentioned, like in the case of rent. Okay, these are costs that more or less are going to be occurring. It is time based. Okay, that is going to be fixed during a given time span. Okay, for example, 1 month. For example, 1 year. Okay, that referred to therefore is a fixed production cost. Okay, they are going to be treated therefore as part of the production, as the part of period costs. Okay, they're not in quote absorbed into the product cost. Okay. Okay, in the case of the absorption costing method, you say that if there's going to be fixed production cost to be incurred, then it is absorbed. It becomes part and parcel of the product cost. Okay. However, in case we're using the marginal costing method, okay, we only use the marginal cost only. Okay, we only use the variable production cost when getting the cost of the product. Okay, we only use the variable. Okay, we only use the marginal cost. Okay, when it comes to getting the product cost. If there'll be fixed cost being incurred, okay, if there'll be fixed production cost being incurred, then they're going to be treated as part of period costs. Okay, they're not absorbed. Okay, they don't become part of the product cost, but they're going to be expense. Okay, when preparing the profit statement. Okay, you need to get that clear. Okay, the key distinction. If you remember the cost card we prepared yesterday, okay, I hope you have it with you, okay. That cost card, if you remember, you had the material cost, we had labor cost, okay, to get the prime cost, okay. Now that is going to be, the prime cost become therefore the marginal cost of the product, okay. If we do have the production overhead cost, okay, which I think we did include, I think in this example, for example, let me just go back to the previous example, okay. I don't have my workings, but I guess you have your workings already, okay, from this question, okay. Well, you say that the prime cost was that 6.4, okay. The prime cost was at 6.4. That's become therefore the product cost if you're using the marginal costing method, okay. This is as per the previous question that we did yesterday. Now, in case you're going to be using the absorption costing method, you're going to be using the absorption costing method. Then if there will be any fixed production overhead, which I think we had here, which was coming, I think, to, it was $4 times 3.5. I think it was $4 times 3.5. Okay, and this gave us, I can't remember how much it gave us. I think 12, I can't remember, I think 14 or so. Okay, to give us 14. Okay, so it was at 6 plus 14, I think 0.4, to give us 50.4. Okay. Now, don't forget here, if we are using the absorption costing here, this, don't forget, this was fixed. This is rent. Where is this? This $4. Don't forget, this $4 is rent, and this is a production overhead. Okay, this is fixed. Don't forget, rent doesn't depend on how many units you're producing. Okay, you pay the same amount of rent every month. Okay, for instance. Okay, therefore here this $4. Okay, they have been absorbed into the product cost. Okay, and in case we include the prime cost plus the production overhead, we get a product cost of 50.4. If you're using the absorption, this fixed cost of $4, okay, have been absorbed into the product cost to give us a total cost of 50.4. That is the case we're using the absorption costing method. If you're using the marginal costing method, okay, and I hope you're going through that work, the working that we did yesterday, okay, the 6.4 become therefore the product cost, okay. As you can see, therefore, the cost of the product is different depending on what basis you're using, okay? Because in case you're using the marginal costing method, then the total product cost becomes therefore the 6.4. If the company is using the absorption costing method, okay, then the cost of the product will be 50.4. Is it clear? Question?
Sir, maybe could you just add on the illustration?
Well, this illustration was from yesterday. Do you have the cost card with you?
Yes, I have the cost card.
Okay. Now,
no, in the part about the marginal costing and the absorption costing.
Okay. So you see that if the company is using the marginal costing method, then the cost of the products, when it comes to determining what's the cost of the product, okay, we only include the variable costs. Okay. In this context, the variable costs were labor costs, okay, which was here, okay, plus the material cost, which was equal to the 6.9. Okay, I think here I can't remember how it was coming to. Okay, so first it was the cost of labor. If you do look at that particular cost cut we drew yesterday, okay, plus the cost of material, okay, which gave us that 6.4, okay, to give us that 6.4, okay. So these are variable costs, okay, that in case you're going to be, for example, you're going to be making more, let's say, you're going to be repairing more commodities, okay, like the cars, okay, the more labor costs you'll be incurring, the more material costs you'll be incurring, okay, therefore this is a variable cost, okay. In short, therefore, the product cost, okay, and the marginal cost method is equal to the prime cost, okay, is equal to the prime cost, okay, which was labor plus material, okay, which you got us that 6.4. Clear there? That's in case you're using.
So 36, so that 6.4, if you do that, is the marginal cost.
That's the marginal cost, yes, that's the marginal cost.
So
marginal
is
cost.
it safe to say that marginal costs are like the direct costs are the marginal?
Yes, we can say the sum total of the direct cost, okay.
Direct costs, yeah.
Yes, direct cost, okay, is equivalent to the marginal cost of the product. Yes, it is. Okay, clear?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now, in case you're using the marginal, you're using the absorption costing method. If you're using the absorption costing method, the production overhead costs, which of course they'll be fixed, okay. Now they're going to be absorbed to form part of the product costs. In this case, okay, we have rent here. The company is paying a rent, okay. Rent of how much? Okay, it's $4 here, okay, it's $4 per hour, okay. So which means therefore we are going to be absorbing the rent into the product based on the hours spent here. Okay. Therefore it was $4 times the hours spent, okay, which was $4 times 3.5 to give us $14. So the total cost of the products is no longer that 6.4, but the 6.4 plus the costs that have been absorbed into the product cost, which is 14, to give us therefore 50.4. Clear there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Don't forget that's kind of how we get the cost of the product based on two methods, either the absorption costing method or the marginal costing method. Okay, so be careful which method is the company using to determine the cost of the product. Okay, because the product cost will be different. Okay, the cost of the product will be different. Okay. So those are two ways that you can be able to determine what's the cost you're incurring. Now, if you've been able to determine the product cost, then it becomes now easy to get the profit. With the profit, will be equal to revenue. Okay, the normal way you do it, revenue. Okay, will be equal to revenue. Will be equal to revenue. Okay, you'll be earning from the sale X amount less the cost of sales. Okay, the cost of sales. Okay, we get therefore the profit here. If you're using the marginal costing method, okay, don't forget here the cost of the goods you have sold, the cost of this product is only the prime cost, is only the marginal cost. Okay, so if for instance, let me actually just open my writing area. Give me a second. Okay, so you see the profit is giving us revenue. Okay, we less the cost of sales. Okay, because therefore we get here the profit. So here, so you're using the marginal costing method. Assume that you'll be selling. Let's say the example of we did for that car repair. Okay, where the prime cost was at 6.4. Assume the company repairs let's say 10 cars. Okay, so the company in that day 10 cars have been repaired. Assume they charge let's say $60 per car. Okay, therefore because therefore the revenue they get for as a company that day was 10 cars times 60 to give us 6,000. That's the revenue. Okay. If we use the marginal costing method, the cost of sale, the cost you incur in ensuring that these cars have been repaired well. If you use the marginal costing method, the cost of product is that 6.4, like you've just done, times 10 to give us therefore This is 600, sorry, not 6,000, this is 600. 600 minus 364. Okay, to give us therefore a gross profit how much? 236. Therefore gross profit of 236. Okay. However, don't forget you have the rent you paid. Then we less the rent here. Say less the rent. Okay. And the rent was per hour, it was 3 for every vehicle. Rent was 3.5 times 4 hours. If you remember to give us 14, okay, times 10, give us 140. Then you have here admin cost, which was $2 per, it was $2. Okay. I'm referring to the previous example. I hope you have it with you. Okay. Otherwise, it's going to be very complicated for you. It was $2 and the 10 items, so times 10 to give us 20. This is another cost. Okay. To give therefore total cost of equal to 236 minus 140 minus 60. Okay. To give us how much? 26. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing.
It's 76.
76, therefore. Okay. Therefore, this company, if it was to use the marginal costing method, it will be reporting a profit of $76. Okay. Now, in case the company is using, this is the marginal. Let me just write here on top that this is marginal. Okay. This is marginal costing method. If the company is using absorption costing method, okay, revenue remains the same. Revenue remain at 600. The cost, however, now will be different because the cost of the product was 50.4 times 10 to give us 504. Look, this the cost was 50.4. I hope you still remember that. Okay, so here the rent has already been absorbed, so here there's nothing. Okay, you put nothing here. However, we have admin cost. Don't forget, admin cost is not absorbed because admin cost is not part of production cost, is non-production cost. Therefore, we less 20 here. And we get still 96, I guess. 76. Okay. For this case, therefore, the profit remains the same. However, the way it is being prepared is different. Okay. We don't have the production overhead here appearing anywhere. They've been absorbed. Okay. They become part and parcel of the safety, the cost of the product. Okay. We don't have here the production overhead cost. Okay. We only have the non-production overhead here, which you have 20. Is it clear? Question? Okay, so be very careful. What method are we using? Okay, because as you can see here, the gross profit, okay, here this is called gross profit, is different. As you can see here, it's 236, but here it is equal to 96. It's different because you maybe just determine what to be the gross profit under the absorption costing method and maybe under the marginal costing method. Those, as you can see, they are quite different. Okay, but sometimes you can have a case where the net profit remains the same, 76, but not, that's not always the case. Okay, there will be instances where the profit under marginal is different from the absorption. Okay, so this is just a coincidence that the two are equal. Okay, but there could be instances where the profit is different based on what method are you using. In the marginal, in the case of the use of the absorption costing method, the profit figures might be different. Okay, so it's not always the amounts that the two will be equal. Clear? Okay, great. I guess I have an example here you can do. Okay, can do this quickly. Question here. Yes, Alexander.
D.
D, because the answer is D. Okay. But in case using the marginal costing method, don't forget, if we have fixed production overhead, then they are not part and parcel of the cost of the product. Okay, they're not part and parcel of the product cost. But in case you're using the absorption costing method, then all of them, okay, they become part and parcel of the cost of the product. Okay. Go through this example. We do it together. Okay, I suppose you have gone through the question and you understood what the examiner, more or less in this example, is required. So here we will prepare a profit statement for June and for July using absorption costing or using the marginal costing. Okay, so you can begin with marginal costing. Okay. So you're told that the company in the month of June, okay, had 40 cups in inventory. Okay, each cup requires 2 hours of labor, 1 kg of raw material, and labor is paid at $8 per hour. Raw material is $12 per kg. Okay, the units of sale, okay, was that a cup sales for that $5. Sales in June 1,000, in July they were 900. So we can begin with June. Okay, so begin with begin absorption. Let's begin with the absorption costing method. Okay, margin is a bit easy, I guess. Let's begin with the marginal costing method. Okay, so this is month of June, month of July. Okay, so we begin with the revenue. Okay, so I have working here. Revenue for the month of June will be equal to 1,000 units of sale at a price of that 5. Let's give therefore that 5,000 units. For the month of July is 900 times that 5. Give us how much? That 1,500. Confirm.
Yes.
Okay. Therefore, revenue June is that 5,000. July is that 1,500. Okay. We less the cost of sale. Okay, cost of sales, and don't forget here we're using only the marginal cost. Okay, and the cost of sale for each unit using only the variable cost is equal to, so more workings here. So product cost and the marginal costing we'll be having, first we have labor, okay, 2 hours at a cost of $8 per hour. Let's give that for 16. Then we have material cost. It's 1 kg at a cost equal of $12 times 12. You have $12. Do you have any? The others are fixed production overhead. Yes, okay. The cost of the product, therefore, will be 28. Therefore, the cost of sale, therefore, for the month of June, then we present June as 6. June as 6 and July as 7. The month of June, 28 times the units. So first, we have the units that were sold in the month of June, they were 1,000, okay, and so they're 1,000. Then at the beginning of the June, at the beginning of the month of June, this company had 40, okay. At the beginning of the month of June, this company had 40 inventories already in store, okay. The company produces 1,000 each month, okay. The units of production each month is 1,000. Therefore, you can see it's 28 multiplied by 1,000. That's what produced in the month of June to give therefore 28,000 in both cases because it's 1,000 and 1,000 for each of the month. Okay, therefore let's say they have 28,000. 28,000. Okay, just a minute. Because 28, that's not the this 28,000 is not the cost of sale. It's the cost of the good that were produced that month. So first we need to get what was the closing opening stock. opening inventory, okay, here was 40 units. So opening inventory value opening inventory. There are 40 of them at a cost of 28 per unit. To give us how much? What's the value of the stock that was there at the beginning of the month? $11.20. That was the stock value beginning of the month. So $11.20. Okay. Let me have it here. $11.20. Okay. Then what was produced? Let me call it the production cost. Production cost. Your sale is equal to 2,800 each of the month. 20,000. Sorry, 20,000. Since the company sold, the sale for June was 1,000. They made 1,000. They sold 1,000, and they had 40 beginning. So therefore, you can say therefore the total units the company had as per the month of June was 1040. Okay, the 1,000 which was produced plus the 40 that was at the beginning of the month, so 1040 minus the sale which was 1,000. Therefore, what is therefore remaining at the end of the month? 40. Then closing stock. Okay, closing stock for this company also is at 40. Okay, 40 times 28 remain the same, 1,100, 1120. That is. Is that clear? Beginning of the month of June, the company had 40. They produced 1,000, so therefore the total units as at June is 1,000 plus 40, 1040 minus what has been sold, which is 1,000. Therefore, what is remaining? 40. What's the value? Is 40 times 28 to give us 1120. Therefore, the cost of sale for the month of June, therefore, okay, is equal therefore to 12,000 minus, okay, the net value here is 2,800, 20,000, okay. The net value here is 28,000. Therefore, is at 5,000 minus 28,000 to give therefore a value of 7,000. That's for the month of June. Is it clear?
No.
Question, ask.
Sir, maybe could you start over the process again?
When it comes to getting the revenue, you want to estimate, you want to determine. When it comes to getting the profit, you want to determine, first of all, how much have you received from the sale? Okay, you made a sale of products. Okay, how many units have you sold in the month of June, for example? Okay, is 1,000 times the selling price, that's 5. Clear there? Clear there? Okay, if you ask a question, I'm asking a question. So I want to know where you get stuck. Is it clear there on how to get the revenue?
No.
You're selling, in a 1 month, you're selling 1,000 items. How much are you fetching from one unit? That $5. There was a revenue at the end of the month you'll be receiving. 1,000 times that 5 to give that 5,000. Is it clear there?
$1,000 items at $5 Shababa.
Sir.
Yes, yes.
Could you like start the process again? I've not like understood anything.
That's what I'm starting. I'm starting all the way from revenue, going downward. So did you get on the revenue bit? How to get the revenue?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, that's how to get the revenue. It's simply the selling price times the number of units that you sell. Okay, get that for that 5,000 in the month of June. That one 500 in the month of July. Okay. Now, in the month of June, don't forget, we need to determine what's the cost we incurred in selling those 1,000 items that we have made sale of. Okay. First, don't forget, at the beginning of the month, you already have an inventory of 40 units. Before the month began, you already have 40 units. Okay, as per the question. Okay. Then what's the value of those costs? What's the value of those inventory? It's 40 times 28 because the cost of one unit we have obtained here is 28. which is the labor cost plus material to give us 28. Clear there? On the cost of the product, it's clear. Don't forget, I'm just going back. So in case it's not clear, you say it's not clear. If it's clear, say it's clear. Is it clear on how to get the cost of the product?
Yes, clear.
Okay, great. So in case, therefore, 1 unit costs $28. Okay, beginning of the month, we had 40 units. There was a total value of those units. It's 1120. Okay, clear? Because 40 times 28, we get 1120. Then we determine during the month, how many units have we produced? We have produced 1,000 items, okay, month of June, okay? Therefore, it's 28 cost per unit times the units you have produced. This is 1,000. Then the total cost of production was 28,000. Clear there?
No.
How many items have you produced in the month of June? As per the question. In the month of June, how many items is the company producing?
1,000.
1,000. What's the cost?
1,000.
It's 1,000. What's the cost per item? You have it here. You've done
$5.
$28. $28 here. We've done just done here. $28. There was total cost. It's 1,000 times 28 to give us 28,000. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Then don't forget, at the beginning of the month, you had 40 items. Then you produce 1,000. Then you sell 1,000. How much remain? Beginning of the month, you had 40 items. You add 1,000 items. You sell 1,000. How much remain?
40.
Oh, 40. Therefore, by the end of the month, the company is yet to sell 40 items. What was the cost of those items? It's 40 times 28 to give us 1120, which you have it here. 1120. Clear?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So don't forget, these 40 items, the company is yet to sell them. That's why you're subtracting. Okay, as you can see here, I have subtracted here 1120, the cost of those 40 items, because you have not yet sold them. This is the cost of sales. You're yet to sell them. So therefore, that's not the cost. That's why we need to remove that cost. Okay, that's what I've done here for 1120. Because you're yet to sell for those 40 items. Therefore, that's why I'm removing 1120 from the cost here. Because you're yet to sell those items. Because you should have those items by the end of the month. Okay, well, this is cost of sales. These 40 items here, okay, you're yet to sell them. Okay, that's why I'm removing them from the cost. Is that clear? Clear?
Yes.
Okay, great.
No.
Yes, ask.
I'm not seeing how I'm not the format of this profit statement.
The format
is a problem. Yeah.
Okay, then maybe my work is not the middle of this. Maybe we have here month of June. Revenue is 35,000 minus 20,000 and you get 7,000. Is that what you mean by format? I don't know what you mean by format. I'm presuming that's what you're asking. You went quiet.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. I think
it's clear now.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay. Therefore, in the month of June, the company has therefore a gross profit of 7,000. Okay. Then at the same time, because you do incur some other cost here, the company incurs fixed production overhead of 2,000 per month. Therefore, we go here, fixed let me go production overhead here less production overhead, which is equal to 2,000. Therefore, and you get therefore profit of 5,000. Therefore, the profit of this company is equal to 10,000 minus 2,000 to give us 5,000. In the month of June, therefore, if we were to use the marginal costing method, we get the profit figure of 5,000. Clear?
Yes.
What? Not really.
Ask.
The last part.
Okay, as for the question, what's the monthly production overhead? Every month, what's the cost to incur? What's the production overhead cost that you incur? Hope you have the question with you, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so every month, what's the production overhead that you incur?
$2,000.
$2,000.
$2,000.
$2,000. Okay. Therefore, the profit here you had, the gross profit you had here, also this is referred to as gross profit, which is 7,000. 7,000 minus the cost, production overhead cost of 2,000, and it gets 5,000. Clear?
Yes.
Okay, great. Therefore, that's how you get therefore the profit. That's how you prepare the profit statement for the month of June using the marginal costing method. Okay. Now the month of July. Okay, don't forget here. There's 2 months. The month of July. Okay. Okay. Let me just open. In the month of July, yes, James.
I've not gotten how you've found the gross profit.
Profit is equal to revenue.
Yeah, I've not gotten how you've found the gross profit.
Can you see the revenue at 5,000?
Yeah.
Minus cost 28,000. Do you get?
Yeah.
What do you get? That 5 minus
20,000 minus?
That 5 minus 28.
7.
7, which you have here. This being the gross profit. Therefore, 7 become therefore a gross profit.
Okay.
Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay. Any other question?
Just a minute before you move to the next slide.
Okay. Done.
No.
Andy, keep your voice low, man. Keep your voice low.
I think people might have gotten the wrong answers, and they're wondering where they got the answers wrong.
Alexander,
Yes.
What do you mean the wrong answer?
Maybe they might have miscalculated, and they're
Hmm.
wondering why their answer is not the same as yours.
Like where? Unless someone was to tell me where they got it wrong, or I don't know. Unless you ask the question, I may not be able to know.
I have a question.
Yes, we did.
So is it correct to say revenue minus closing stock is equals to the gross profit? Because that's how we did it here.
Sorry, revenue minus?
Minus closing stock is equals to the gross profit.
No, don't forget here. What I've done
Yeah.
here, this 20,000. Now,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
let me just actually, you don't confuse. Don't forget this 28,000 here. This 28,000
Yes.
we have here is equal to 1120 plus 28,000 minus 1120. And you get 28,000.
Okay.
This 28,000 is not a closing stock value. Is the sum and the subtraction of open inventory plus production cost minus closing stock.
Okay.
Yes, the 28,000 is not
Closing stock.
It's not the closing stock. Let me just try to redo it. Okay, I hope it is revenue.
Okay.
But 5,000 less the cost of sales, less cost of sales, less cost of sales. And now the cost of sales given us opening stock, which was 1120. Production cost, which was 28,000. We subtract closing stock, which is equal to 1120. And we get a figure here of 28,000. This is what we're subtracting here, is 28,000. Okay, therefore, gross profit value of 7,000. James, is that better? I hope it's better.
Yeah, could you just give me a minute to copy it down? Like this. Yeah, the formula.
Okay.
And sir, here there's no cost of sales here.
Where?
This.
No, this is what we call cost of sales. This 20,000 is what we call the cost of sales. Let me just put it down so that you don't confuse. This is what we refer to as the cost of sales. The net of the opening stock plus production cost minus closing stock is what we refer to as the cost of sales.
Pardon?
Opening stock plus production cost minus stock is what we refer to as the cost of sales. This 28,000 here is what we call the cost of sales. Is it clear? Yes. Therefore, that 5,000 minus 28,000 give us 7,000, which we call the gross profit of the company. Better?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, I think we can do it for the month of July. That's for the month of June. Okay. And of course, here we less the production overhead. We only had production overhead, which is 2,000. Give therefore the net profit. Net means like the total profit equal to 5,000. We have obtained in the previous slide. Okay. Now in the month of July, the same process going to follow. Okay. Revenue. Okay. So revenue, month of July, we begin the same process. Revenue is equal to, we got 31,500. Then we less the cost of sales, which is equal to opening stock. Don't forget, we had, okay, let me just take you back to the previous slide. Okay. Don't forget here, the closing stock, we had 40 units that were remaining. Okay, in the month of June, at the end of the month of June, the company, there were 40 stock that the company is yet to make a sale of. Then in the month of July, okay, the closing stock of the month of June become the opening stock of the month of July, isn't it? It's clear. So therefore 40. Therefore, your opening stock is 40 with a value of 1120. That's the opening stock in the month of July. Okay. Then less production cost. Don't forget, every month the company is producing 1,000. Okay. Every month the company is producing 1,000. Okay. Which implies therefore the production cost remains as it was. Okay. Remains at 28,000. Because every month you produce 1,000. So it's 1,000 times 28. This will give us 28,000. However, the closing stock in this month, the closing stock in the month of July, you had 40 stock beginning of the month. You made 1,000. You sold 900. How much remain?
$100.
Are you sure?
I haven't answered the question clearly.
At the beginning of the month, you had 40 items. You produce 1,000. You sell 900. So how much do you have you're yet to sell, which you call the closing stock?
140.
140.
140. Therefore, by the end of the month of July, the company is yet to sell 140. What's the value of those 140? It is equal to the value of that 140 is 140 times 28, because one stock has a value of 28. Total value is how much?
$39.20.
That's 920. Okay. Therefore, the company is yet to sell stock worth that 920. Okay. Therefore, we less that cost. Okay. Therefore, less the closing stock value. It is equal to. Sorry, this is not minus. It's 28. Okay. That's 920. That's 920. We subtract because you're yet to sell the stock worth that 920. So we reduce it for at the cost for the month. Net cost, therefore, for the month, which you call the cost of sale.
So a gross profit of 6,300.
So first of all, what's the cost of sale? The net value. 1120 20,000 minus that 920. What do you get?
25.
25?
200.
200.
200.
For 25, 200. 25, 200. Okay. Therefore, you can say gross profit. Therefore, will be 25 to will be that 5,000 that 1,500 minus 25 200 to give us 6,300.
Yeah.
300. Okay. We get 6,300 for the gross profit less the cost of production, which is still the same. It's equal to 2,000 per month. Less production overhead equal to 2,000 per month. We have to get a net profit of 4,300. Sorry, my working is a bit so squeezed, but we get 4,300. Therefore, the net profit of the company. Clear? Question? Okay, see that was quite clear. That's how you prepare a profit statement using the marginal costing method. okay, using the marginal costing method. Okay, the examiner in this example, you're meant to also prepare the profit statement using the absorption costing method. Okay, the absorption costing method. Okay, let's do that. Okay, now you're preparing based on the absorption costing method. First, we need to determine that how is the fixed production overhead going to be absorbed. Okay, we took it, the company in a month, the fixed production overhead is 2,000 per month. Okay, and each of the month, the company is producing 1,000 items. Okay, 1,000 items. Therefore, you can say, therefore, the cost per unit, okay, we call it the cost, the production overhead per unit, the production overhead, okay, per unit, will be equal to 2,000 divided by 1,000 to give us $2. Okay, equals $2. Therefore, the total product cost, therefore, made of the prime cost, which you already obtained as $28. Isn't it? We got $28 if you remember, $28 plus $2 plus here production overhead. It is equal to $2 per unit. $2 together for cost of $30. Clear? Okay, great. We get therefore that $30 will be the cost per unit because you're using the absorption costing method where the fixed production overhead will become part and parcel of the product cost. Okay, therefore the cost of the product becomes therefore $30. Okay, I think we can begin. Revenue remain the same. Okay, revenue doesn't matter on which or what is the costing method you're using. Therefore, revenue, and begin the month of June is equal to 35,000. We less the cost of sale, okay, cost of sales, which is equal to opening stock, opening inventory, that is. We had 40 items, so opening stock, opening inventory value, they had 40 times now 30 to give us 1,200, which is equal therefore 1,200 here. Let me erase this so that it becomes clearer. Month of June, here we have that 5,000. 12,000 minus production cost, which we have production cost for the month is equal to month of June is 1,000 times 30 because every item is 30, therefore 30,000. 30,000. We less the closing stock. We still 40. Okay, closing stock. It's 40 times 30 to give us 1,200. Okay, we less 1,200. The selling cost, therefore, is equal to 30,000. Yes, 30,000. The net value, 30,000. So here, 30,000. Therefore, profit, therefore, will be equal to, okay, that 5,000 minus 30,000 to give us 5,000. Okay, and this is the same profit that you had in the month of June using the absorption costing method. Clear? Question? Okay, great. Okay, seems it was an easy one. Therefore, the profit as per the month of June, if you had to use the absorption costing method, therefore equal to 5,000. And the same profit that we have also in the month of, if you had to use the marginal costing method. Now let's prepare for the month of July. Let's prepare for the month of July. Month of July. Revenue is equal to.
Sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir. It's okay. I've seen.
You've seen.
It's
Okay. Okay, so month of July, revenue remain as it was, that 500, that 1,500. We raise the cost of sales. The cost of sales to be equal to opening stock, which was 40. Okay, don't forget the opening stock was the closing stock. Okay, don't forget the closing stock here was 40 and times 30, 1,200. So closing stock for June is the opening stock for July. Okay, the opening stock for the month of July remain at 1,200. Production cost is 1,000. Okay, don't forget to produce 1,000. Okay, times 30 to remain at 30,000. Closing stock, we less closing stock, and the closing stock, I think here you can do working for it. Closing stock for the month of July will be equal to opening stock. We had 40, we produced 1,000. Okay, sold 900. Therefore, what's remaining is 140 by the end of the month of July. Therefore, the value of the closing stock is equal to therefore 140 times 30. Therefore, 4,200. Therefore, by the end of the month of July, the company is yet to sell stock worth 4,200. Okay, therefore, closing stock, we have here 4,200. Therefore, what's the cost of sale? The net value. $27,000. Is it 27? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. Okay, therefore, the cost of sale is 27,000. Therefore, profit, we book 11 minus cost of sale to give us, therefore, how much? That 500 or 45? 4,500. Confirm?
Yeah.
Okay, they'll get profit equal to 4,500. Okay, 4,500. Okay, don't forget, by the, as I mentioned, it's not always a must that the profit will be the same under the marginal and the absorption cost method. Okay, I'm not sure how much it was for the month of July. At the marginal, it was equal to 43. Yes, and this is a case here. Now, with the cost here, the month of July was 4,300. Okay, under the marginal costing method. If you have to use the absorption cost method, because the profit is different now. Okay, which is this time is equal to 4,500. Okay. So don't forget, it's not a guarantee that you're going to have, you're going to be having a case of profit be the same. However, I don't know whether you've put a note here. In the month of July, in the month of June, the profit is the same. Okay, whether you use the marginal in absorption costing method, we got 5,000 in the month of June, and we got the same 5,000 in the month of June under the marginal costing method. Why is that the case? Therefore, if you can have the same units for closing stock and opening stock, if you're going to have the same number of units, don't forget here, the closing stock here, they were 40, opening stock were 40, and the closing were 40. If that's the case, therefore, the profit will be the same whether you're going to use the absorption costing method or you're going to be using the marginal costing method. If the number of units for closing stock and opening stock are equal, like in this case, here they were 40 and 40. Okay. However, in the month of July, this was different. Here they were 40, and here they were 140. If that's the case, then you're going to end up having different profit for the marginal and the absorption costing method. Is that clear? Because you'll be asked a question. Okay, what instances will cause the profit to be reported at a marginal and absorption costing to be different? If the closing stock and the opening, if the closing stock and the opening stock are different in terms of the numbers. Okay, here it was 40-40. Then the profit in both sides, marginal and absorption, is the same. If, however, they're different, like in the month of July, where here you had 40 and closing you had 140, then the profit will be different using either of those two methods. If you have absorption costing as well as under the marginal costing, the profit will be different. Here it was 4,200, okay, and here it was 4,500 because you have different closing stock and opening stock values. Is that clear? Okay, great. And that's on how we therefore report the profit using two methods, okay, the absorption costing method and the marginal costing method. Any question? Was in the main exam, there'll be a question, even in the main exam. So be prepared to do such analysis. Okay, if there's no question, then I am happy that you have understood well and understood that area quite great. Ishmael, I don't know, I can see your chat, but I don't know, you have a question, Ishmael? Ishmael?
I don't have a question.
Okay. Okay, great. So that was on how we report based on the marginal and the absorption costing method. Okay. So I have a question here. Emmanuel.
Yes,
How are you?
fine.
Okay, you need to use your two full names. Okay, so for the sake of knowing who it is. Okay, so when entering the class, use two full names, isn't it?
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay. Alexander.
Marginal costing profits are always greater than absorption costing profits, B.
You think it's B?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
They're not always greater, by the way. They're not always greater. There could be instances where the reverse occur, okay? That you're going to have a case where C applies. So B and C is not that's the rule of thumb, that the profit of the marginal will always be greater, okay? The term always here is wrong, okay? It could be greater, but here the term always make it wrong. It's not always, it's not a guarantee. There's no rule of the thumb that is always going to be greater, okay? So it's not a guarantee, okay, that will be the case. Moses, and the same applies
So
here. And
I think that the answer is D.
The difference between the costing and the absorption costing always reverses. Is not always, by the way. It may reverse, but not always. Okay. It in future, as time goes by, it will reverse, but not in the following period. Okay. It does not mean that because profit here is different, then the next month it will reverse back to the normal. No. But in the long term, that will happen. Now this that will count there for A. In the long term, there'll be no difference. It will be reversing. Okay. So here in the following period, it will make it wrong, part D. Okay. But in the long term, there'll be no difference. Okay. Whether you're going to use marginal costing method, absorption costing method, at the end, in the same company. So in the long term, there's no difference in terms of the profit that you'll be reporting, whether you use the absorption costing method or use the marginal costing method in the same company. Okay. The same company carry those costs. Okay. So in the short term, there might be seem to be difference between the profit, okay, between the marginal and the absorption. But in the long term, they will in short knock each other out. Okay, it's going to be a case where the profit is equal in totality. Okay, whether use the absorption or use the marginal costing method. Okay. Now I was wanted just to check on Alexander, the last one of Alexander. Okay. Now let's see, maybe here we have a case. We have the material. And I see that here, for Alexander, A was, what was A, B saying? That the profit at a marginal will always be greater. This marginal where? Yes, marginal, okay, will always be greater, okay. In this example you've done here, okay, in this example you've done here, in the month of July, now Alexander, this is different. Well, this is marginal costing method. This is absorption, isn't it? Well, this absorption. Yeah, this was at absorption, and the profit here is even greater. Yeah, Alexander. Because here is 45. For the marginal, it was 43, wasn't it? Alexander.
Yeah, for marginal, the gross profit was 7,000, and for absorption, the
Total
gross profit was 5,000.
Total profit was how much? Total profit. For marginal
for absorption,
absorption was for 4,500. For marginal was for 300. You can see that.
Yeah.
So it actually goes against your statement. But
Yeah.
C is not correct. If don't forget this, C could be correct based on what you have here. That hey, under the case of the absorption costing method, the profit is greater than the marginal costing method. However, that's not always the case. Okay. If, for instance, you can have a case here. Okay, I would want you on your free time you try it out. You can try it out right now. If, for example, the closing stock here, if here the closing stock value, okay, is lower than the opening stock value, okay, assume that the closing stock was let's say 30. Look at here, opening stock is 40, closing was 140. Okay, opening stock number was 140, closing stock was 140. If you're going to have the reverse of carry, where the closing stock is lower than the opening stock, then the reverse will be your carry. Okay, but if, for example, you have 30 units or 30 items as the closing stock, okay, as opposed to 140, then the reverse will be your carry. But the profit to be reported under the marginal costing method will be greater than the absorption costing method. And that's what I say that the B and C answers given there are not correct. Okay, those two statements are not correct. Okay, so it's not always a must that the profit will be greater from both sides. Okay, but as time goes by, don't forget the profit will not. There'll be no difference in terms of profit, in terms of the total profit received under the absorption costing method. Neither there will be a difference under the marginal costing method. Clear? Question?
So what is the answer?
As I say, there's no difference. In the long term, there's no difference. The difference only appears in the short term. The difference only appears in the short term, but in the long term, there is no difference. Okay, there's no difference between the two. Okay, whether you use the marginal costing method or you use the absorption costing method. Okay, the profit remains the same. Clear? Okay, let's.
Sir,
yes, sure.
why is there a difference with the short term and the long term?
Why the difference in the long term and short term? In the short term, don't forget, as I mentioned,
Why are the profits different?
Why is the profit going to be different? We have seen that if you did have a case where you do have the closing stock, okay, and the opening stock values are different, then the profit to be reported will be different, okay. With the short term, that will be the case, okay. But at the end of the day, okay, if you're going to be having different units of closing stock and opening stock, then you're going to end up with different profit under each of the method, whether marginal or absorption costing method, okay. Clear there?
Yeah.
The difference in the short term is caused by the difference in the units of closing and the opening stock. In the long term, okay, in the long term, let's take a hypothetical case, okay. Now the company is closing down, okay, it has come to its end life. The company has come to its end life, okay. What will be there for the with the closing stock or the opening stock? In this context, there'll be no closing stock for the company. If the company, for example, is closing down, okay, 10 years down the line, the company is closing down, okay, there will be no closing stock as per se. There might be opening stock, okay, beginning of the year, but at the end of the year, there will be no closing stock value. Why? Because the company is closing down. Don't forget, the company will be having a closing stock because there is anticipation of making more sales in the future. But if you're closing down the company, for example, do you have a closing stock? No, you dispose of the market. The amount to be receiving, whether it be the amount to be receiving from the sale of that closing stock is the same, okay? Because you're going to go to the market and sell your stock. So it does not matter whether it's going to be absorption or marginal, the amount you receive from the disposal of the inventory is the same. Do you get it?
Yes.
But at the end of the day, okay, I'm trying to think of this in theory, okay, that if the company is closing down, the difference in the value of the inventory does not matter. Why? Because we are going to go to the market, tell the market, I'm closing down my shop. So I have stock worth 1 million. The market will give you the value. We are only going to buy from you at 500,000 or at 900,000. So it does not matter what you use, whether you use marginal or absorption cost method. The market gives you a market price for that particular inventory. So there's no difference between the two of them. So in the long term, there's no difference between the profit reported at a marginal or absorption costing method. Clear? Okay, so that was on that topic, okay, on cost unit, cost classification, and profit reporting, okay. So I guess it's an easy topic, okay. What you have to be careful is on the profit reporting, okay, on the profit reporting and how we determine the value of the stock, how we determine the value of the stock. Okay, now I would have wanted us to do a RAT, okay, on the topic, because we are yet to do any assessment on the topics that we have covered so far. I'm wondering whether you have time. Let me take a comment question. Give me a second. I try to see whether in the next, we can do the RAT in the next 15 minutes. Let me just give me a minute.